very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines this morning. Rajya Sabha passes the Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill 2016 and a Dentist Amendment Bill 2016. The two bills put the National Eligibility cum Entrance Test in place. Key reform in final lap GST bill to face test in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. Both the BJP and the Congress issue whips ask members to be present in the House when bill is tabled. Anandiben Patel quits as Gujarat Chief Minister. BJP President Amit Shah says resignation will be put in front of the Parliamentary Board Committee for further action. Disciplinary panel of the National Anti-Doping Agency gives clean chit to Narsingh Yadav, wrestler allowed to participate in 2016 Rio Olympics. And India in command in the second test match at Sabina Park against the West Indies. Rahane's stun stretches India's lead to 304. Virat Kohli declares at 500 for 9. Hosts get a lifeline as final session washed out due to rain. Well, the long-pending GST bill was on Monday listed for consideration and passage in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. This amid strong indications that the most far-reaching taxation reform in independent India would be supported by Congress and all other major political parties. The Goods and Services Tax GST bill, which has been in the making for over a decade, entails introduction of a single indirect tax regime across the country. According to reports, the government held fresh round of talks on Monday with the main opposition Congress and other parties, including the Left and Samajwadi Party, for building a consensus on the key tax reform legislation. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley held further consultations with senior Congress leaders Ghulam Nabi Azad and Anand Sharma and chalked out details of the contentious bill aimed at bringing about a consensus on the key bill. Jaitley also met CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri besides some other leaders. Later, along with Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar, he met Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan. Another round of talks to clarify on the language of the key parts of the bill is likely to be held with the Congress on Tuesday.
जीएसटी पर भी हमारी यही कोशिश रही है कि सभी लोग जो है इसमें सहमति के आधार पर जो है वो इसको पास कर पाए.
1% additional tax. Second was grievance redressal mechanism, whether it should be part of the structure or outside it. And third was the rate. I think government has shown willingness and it should be open to listen to the opposition benches. Stop the blame game. Who stopped GST? Because the blame game would also include the then Gujarat Chief Minister and today's Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. He was the one who did not allow GST to be passed in UPA 2 regime.
मैं मानता हूं कि सरकार ने सभी लोगों से सभी पार्टियों से बात कर ली होगी और आम सहमति से पास होना चाहिए, ऐसा पहले से हमारा राय रहा है.
Government has agreed to the Congress's proposal of not imposing 1% additional tax on states that lose revenue. Secondly, negotiations are only on with regard to capping of a limit on GST. The government has to deliver on what it has spoken. Congress has always been ready to pass the GST provided the 3 or 4 provisions that were anti-poor, anti-people were dropped from the bill.
Meanwhile, Parliament on Monday passed 2 significant bills to put the National Eligibility cum Entrance Test or NEET in place. The Indian Medical Council Amendment Bill of 2016 and the Dentist Amendment Bill of 2016, which are approved by the Lok Sabha earlier, were passed by the Rajya Sabha by voice vote. With NEET, government aims to curb corruption by bringing in transparency and check multiplicity of exams. NEET will come into effect from next year. The admission to medical and dental courses will be done through a single common entrance test across the country. AIADMK opposed the bill and staged a walkout, arguing that it will affect rural students who do not study CBSE syllabus. Health Minister JP Nadda, however, assured that this will not affect state quota and it will be on state governments to decide and give extra marks and give admissions to reserved categories.
हम लोगों ने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को लिख दिया है कि पिछले 3 सालों में आपके यहाँ स्टेट्स में किस किस लैंग्वेजेस में आपने एग्जामिनेशन लिया है उसको हमको आप बताएं और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली द एग्जामिनेशंस विल टेक प्लेस अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर लैंग्वेजेस.
So it is, reservation is our birthright. It is in practice. We are following it in force. So the NEET, because of this NEET examination, definitely rural poor students will be affected.
आप एग्जिट एग्जाम कंपलसरी कर दीजिए. आपको जो ये आशंका है कि कहीं क्वालिटी खराब न हो जाए.
इस डोनेशन के सिस्टम को आप इस एग्जाम के साथ खत्म करेंगे नहीं करेंगे. जो प्राइवेट लोग हैं, प्राइवेट कॉलेज हैं, ये रिजर्वेशन जो सरकारी अस्पतालों में होता है, ये प्राइवेट अस्पतालों में होगा कि नहीं होगा?
Seeing the constitution of the National Board on Examination does not give me any confidence whatsoever that this government has the courage to stand up to the vested interests of the Medical Council of India and accept the recommendations of the Standing Committee.
Well, Minister of State for External Affairs General V.K. Singh will leave for Saudi Arabia today to help stranded jobless Indian workers there. Nearly 10,000 Indian workers are facing severe food crisis in the Saudi city of Jeddah after losing their jobs. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj assured the Rajya Sabha that the government will make all arrangements to bring back Indian workers who are currently stuck in Saudi.
The government has stepped up efforts to help nearly 10,000 Indian workers in Saudi Arabia facing starvation after being rendered jobless. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj informed the Rajya Sabha during 0 hour that the Indian embassy in Saudi Arabia has been directed to serve food and that she was monitoring the situation on an hourly basis. Swaraj also stressed that the government will take steps to ensure that the Indian workers get their salary arrears and exit visa.
लेबर ऑफिस से हमने कहा कि 8-8 महीने का बकाया नहीं, कईयों का तो बहुत दिनों का बकाया है, तो इसलिए आप हमसे इनके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन करवाइए जिसमें जब भी आप इन कंपनियों के साथ सेटल करें तो उनका पूरा बकाया वेतन हमारे श्रमिकों को दिया जा सके. और अब मैं स्वयं जनरल वीके सिंह को वहाँ भेज रही हूँ, वो कल वहाँ चले जाएंगे. फॉरेन ऑफिस और लेबर ऑफिस दोनों से बात करके इन सबके हम लोग रजिस्टर करेंगे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ताकि इनको सारा का सारा बकाया पैसा यहाँ वापस आने पर भी मिल सके और इनको सबको स्वदेश वापस लेकर के आएंगे.
Swaraj was seeking to allay fears of members who expressed concern over the Indians starving in Saudi Arabia.
बिहार के 700 मजदूर जा करके जद्दा में फंसे हुए हैं इसलिए कि यहाँ काम नहीं मिलता है. वहाँ रोज रोटी के लिए तड़प रहे हैं. कारखाना मालिक ने, वहाँ की कंपनी ने 8 महीने से उनका वेतन बंद कर रखा है.
वहाँ की सरकार जो उन पे एट्रोसिटी कर रही है, जेलों में बंद है, उनको रोटी नहीं मिल रहा, काम से उनके पासपोर्ट जमा कर लिए गए. सिमन, ये तो एक निर्दयता का एक तरीका हो गया. यहाँ का लेबर जा रहा है और उसको उस तरह हो रहा है. मैं सुषमा जी से कहूँगा कि इसको गंभीरता से लें.
हमें जो है लीगल असिस्टेंस की सुविधा करानी चाहिए और लोगों को मदद करने के लिए वहाँ पे एक सेल बनानी चाहिए स्पेशल, तभी ये समस्या हल हो सकती है. अगर हम लाखों मजदूरों सबको वापस बुला लेंगे, डोमेस्टिक वर्कर सबको, उससे समस्या हल नहीं होने वाली.
The ongoing dip in oil prices has forced the Saudi government to slash spending since last year, putting a strain on local construction firms that rely on state contracts. Many companies are struggling to pay foreign workers and have laid off thousands, leaving them jobless and famished. On Saturday, the Consulate General of India in Jeddah, in association with the Indian community, distributed 15,475 kilos of food to the workers over the past 3 days. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, opposition members in the Rajya Sabha took exception to remarks allegedly made by Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar. Members alleged that Parrikar was threatening minorities and demanded the Prime Minister's assurance to ensure their security. Defending himself, the Defence Minister, however, claimed that he didn't threaten anyone.
Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar faced the heat in the Rajya Sabha from a united opposition. Raising the issue during 0 hour, TMC MP Derek O'Brien alleged that at a time when religious fundamentalism is on the rise, the Defence Minister is intimidating citizens.
First time if it happens, sir, we can call it a mistake. Second time if it happens, sir, we can call it a bigger mistake. Third time if it happens, we can call it a blunder. But if it happens and happens and happens, I have to say, sir, It is a decision. I believe this is happening not because of a mistake. This is a decision of this government, sir. Otherwise, let me tell you, sir, one, the defense minister of this country would not have said what he said yesterday.
Other opposition parties joined in to target Parrikar for his alleged remarks. Members also demanded the Prime Minister's response in the House to assuage the collective angst of minorities and Dalits.
Defense Minister and Home Ministry.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They are supposed to protect the territorial integrity of the country.
Let me say.
Is this the way of protecting the territorial integrity of the country? You are alienating your own people. You are alienating your own country.
पूरे देश में धार्मिक अल्पसंख्यक समाज में से खास तौर से मुस्लिम समाज के लोगों को इन्होंने अपना निशाना बनाया, उनका हर प्रकार से उत्पीड़न किया गया और अब पूरे देश के अंदर दलितों के साथ भी बड़े पैमाने पर उत्पीड़न हो रहा है। हमारी पार्टी ये चाहती है कि प्रधानमंत्री हाउस के अंदर आए और ये बताएं कि देश के अंदर ये सब कुछ क्या हो रहा है।
इतने इम्पोर्टेंट पद पर बैठे हुए व्यक्ति को सीधे कम्युनिटी को, पूरी माइनॉरिटी को धमकाने की बात कही जाए, पाठ पढ़ाने की बात कही जाए।
Now he said he denied it.
मैंने वीडियो को देखा है।
सर ये रक्षा मंत्री, ये अगर रक्षा मंत्री है तो किसका रक्षा हो रहा है? किसका रक्षा हो रहा है?
Parrikar, however, denied making any damaging remarks. He clarified that his words did not point out at anyone.
What is quoted is not what I have said. Yeah, that is what he said. I never took name of anyone. He said he didn't say that. Anyone.
Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian then urged members to raise specific issues against the Defence Minister in accordance to the rules. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the Lok Sabha on Monday passed the debt recovery bill that will help speedy recovery of bad loans and help banks clean up their balance sheets of stressed assets. While debating the bill in the House, the government said that the country cannot have a banking system where people take loans and do not repay. Here are the details. The Lok Sabha on Monday passed the Enforcement of Security Interest and Recovery of Debts Laws and Miscellaneous Provisions Amendment Bill of 2016 by voice vote. The law empowers banks to take possession of collateral in the case of loan default except for farmland. However, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley ruled out waiver for education loan defaulters.
The security can be given to the asset reconstruction company, and that asset reconstruction company will then transiently hold it till a new person can step in and then revive that same asset. So the idea being the unit must go on, it must become economically more liquid, and the jobs are not lost in the whole process.
The government has accepted all recommendations of the Joint Committee which submitted its report last month. The bill will amend 4 acts: SARFAESI Act of 2002, the Recovery of Debts Due to Banks and Financial Institutions Act of 1993, the Indian Stamp Act of 1899 and the Depositories Act of 1996. Lok Sabha members also pitched for speedier recovery of debts.
This bill may seem sufficient or ample or substantive or comprehensive when it comes to reforming the financial sector, yet again, but we do need to ask ourselves that despite consistent reforms in this country, what is the state of our banking sector and in particular the public sector banking?
Non-banking financial capital is registered with the RBI and having assets size of rupees 500 crore were to be notified as financial institutions under SARFAESI Act. For some strange reasons known best to the government, it has not yet issued such a notification still.
Problem of prices, which is linked to the finance ministry, is also related to problem of industrial development. This I want to bring to your notice, sir.
The bill aims at faster recovery of debt by PSU banks, which are grappling with the 4 lakh rupees crore of non-performing assets and 8 lakh rupees crores of stressed assets. The bill also gives RBI powers to audit and inspect asset reconstruction company and the freedom to remove the chairman or any director and appoint central bank officials to its board. The move assumes significance as it comes against the backdrop of the case involving liquor baron Vijay Mallya, who owes 9,000 crore rupees to banks but has left the country to take refuge in England. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, another national news now. Gujarat Chief Minister Anandiben Patel has submitted her resignation. She has offered to resign earlier, asking the BJP High Command to start the process of selecting a new Chief Minister. In a letter, she had stated that she wanted to step down as Chief Minister when she turned 75 on November 21st. She also submitted her resignation to Party President Amit Shah and State BJP Chief Vijay Rupani. A final decision on her resignation will be taken by the BJP Parliamentary Board. Anandiben Patel was under pressure as the BJP fared badly in the rural civic body polls in December 2015, with the opposition Congress making gains. The fierce Patel community quota agitation and the more recent Dalit uprising after the Una thrashing incident has also dented the image of the party.
2017 के अंत में गुजरात में विधानसभा के चुनाव आने वाले हैं और राज्य में हर 2 साल के बाद होने वाली महत्वपूर्ण वाइब्रेंट गुजरात समिट में भी जनवरी 2017 में आने वाली है। नवनियुक्त मुख्यमंत्री को पूर्ण समय मिले, इसलिए मैंने 2 माह पहले पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेतृत्व के सामने इस जिम्मेदारी से मुक्त होने की विनती की थी। मैं फिर से इस पत्र के माध्यम से पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेतृत्व को मुझे मुख्यमंत्री पद की जिम्मेदारी से मुक्त करने की विनती करती हूं।
उन्होंने कहा है कि नवंबर में उनके 75 साल समाप्त हो रहे हैं और क्योंकि जो नया व्यक्ति पार्टी लाना चाहती है उसको एक समय मिलना चाहिए, तो इसलिए उन्होंने स्वयं अपने पद से मुक्त करने के लिए पार्टी को रिक्वेस्ट की है। अब इन्होंने जो पत्र मुझे लिखा है मैं पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड के सामने रखूंगा और पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड उस पर निर्णय करेगा।
Well, 3 accused in the Bulandshahr gang rape case were sent to 14 days of judicial custody on Monday. Expressing anguish over the case, UP Governor Ram Naik has asked the state government and police to take immediate steps to ensure that incidents like the Bulandshahr gang rape do not recur. Meanwhile, the centre has sought a report from the UP government after the issue resonated in the Lok Sabha on Monday, with BJP members demanding Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav's resignation on the issue. A woman and her 13-year-old daughter were gang raped at gunpoint after dragging them out of the car in Bulandshahr when they were travelling with their family from Noida on Friday night. Over a dozen people have also been detained. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Ghatam, one of the oldest and most unique percussion instruments of southern India. You can play it not only with your fingers, but palms, wrists and heels as well. You'll be surprised, but the air inside the Ghatam reverberates, creating the musical notes. 5 elements of nature: earth, water, air, fire and space make up the composition of this beautiful musical piece, which has found an apt place in most of the ancient books.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the Congress party will kick off its Uttar Pradesh poll campaign with President Sonia Gandhi leading a roadshow in Varanasi today. Supporters and party workers are likely to participate in the roadshow, which will cover nearly 8 kilometers in 3 hours. The roadshow will conclude at Englishia Line, where the Congress president will deliver a speech. She will also offer prayers at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. The Congress chief is expected to take on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his Lok Sabha constituency over lack of development in the city. Congress's UP Chief Ministerial candidate Sheila Dikshit and senior leader Ghulam Nabi Azad will also be present at the roadshow.
27 साल पहले कांग्रेस का रूल हुआ था और हमारा नारा भी यही है कि 27 साल उत्तर प्रदेश बेहाल। और ये नारा कोई ऐसा ही नारा नहीं है, सत्य है। इसमें पूरा सत्य है कि जिस शिखा पर पहुंच गया है उत्तर प्रदेश, हम सब लोग उत्तर प्रदेश के रहने वाले हैं, तो बुरा लगता है।
Well, Home Minister Rajnath Singh will visit Islamabad on Wednesday to attend the SAARC Home Ministers Conference as per schedule. This despite the threats made by militant and Lashkar-e-Toiba Chief Hafiz Saeed's warning of a countrywide protest in Pakistan if Singh arrives in Islamabad to attend the SAARC summit. Rajnath Singh is also expected to raise the issue of Pakistan's support to terror groups operating in India, but is unlikely to meet his Pakistani counterpart Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan separately for bilateral talks.
हमारे होम मिनिस्टर पाकिस्तान जा रहे हैं, वो कोई बायलैटरल टॉक ले नहीं जा रहे हैं, वो एक मल्टीलैटरल टॉक है जिसमें सार्क देशों का गृह मंत्रियों का बैठक है और वहाँ पे कोई भी सिक्योरिटी का इशू आता है तो वो पाकिस्तान को उसको संभालना चाहिए। अगर कोई संगठन उस पर कोई धमकी देता है तो पाकिस्तान का ड्यूटी बनता है कि उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई करे।
Well, the flood situation remains grim in Assam and Bihar, with almost every river in the two states flowing above the danger mark. In Odisha, 41 people have died due to lightning strikes in 10 districts of the state since Sunday. The weathermen have predicted more rains or thunder showers over north and south Odisha, along with gusty winds. UP too continue to receive heavy downpour, with many rivers flowing near or above the danger mark, creating flood-like situations in several villages.
Flood fury is showing no mercy as situation in Bihar and Assam worsens. All major rivers in Assam are overflowing due to the continuous heavy rainfall, submerging 2,266 villages across 21 districts. 31 people have lost their lives and nearly 17 lakhs are displaced. 1.5 lakh people are forcibly living in 463 relief camps. The Met Department has forecast more rain and thunder showers in the next 24 hours in Assam.
क्या कहेंगे सरकार अभी जब इलेक्शन का टाइम होगा तब सामने आ जाते हैं। अभी तो मुख छुपा के बैठा हुआ है, कोई नहीं अभी तक तो कोई भी नहीं आ रहा है।
The situation is not so good in Bihar either. The flood toll stands at 26 and an estimated 27.5 lakh people have been affected in over 2,000 villages across 12 districts. Incessant rainfall followed by floods have also damaged crops in 3.39 lakh hectares of land.
डर क्या रहता है, पानी आता है, फंसने का डर है, बच्चे हैं, छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, कहाँ लेके जाऊं, कैसे लेके जाऊं। नाव है, नाव ऐसा है जिसमें नाव में भी पानी बहते रहता है, नाव पानी भरा रहता है, उसमें भी डर होता है नाव पे भी जाने में।
A massive landslide also occurred in Shimla due to the heavy downpour, blocking the crucial National Highway 5, leaving hundreds of tourists stranded.
हम 2 दिन से फंसे हुए हैं और 2 दिन से फंसने के बाद ना तो यहाँ पे हमें खाना भी जो है वो रेट टू रेट नहीं, और डबल ट्रिपल की अगर यहाँ पे 100 रुपये की थाली तो 400 की दे रहे हैं और चाय 50 रुपये की दे रहे हैं कि हर तरीके से दिक्कत में है।
Heavy rain also wreaked havoc in Maharashtra's Bhiwandi district, where a building collapsed, burying alive 9 people. Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar undertook an aerial survey of Gurugram after heavy rainfall triggered waterlogging and traffic jams in the city 2 days ago.
जो ड्रेन बादशाहपुर ड्रेन है वो जगह जगह उसको एक प्रकार से एनक्रोचमेंट भी हुई है, जगह जगह उसकी जितनी सफाई होनी चाहिए थी वो सफाई भी नहीं है। लगता है कि हमको कुछ ना कुछ का ज़रूर एक ऑपरेशन ऐसा ज़रूर करना पड़ेगा जिसके कारण से पानी आगे इतनी बरसात है कभी न रुके।
However, showers on Monday evening brought much relief to Delhiites as they enjoyed from the humid conditions. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on to some international news now. The United States has carried out airstrikes on positions of Islamic State militant group in Libya following a request by the Libyan government. The strikes targeted positions in the port city of Sirte, which is an IS stronghold. In a televised address, Libyan Prime Minister Fayez Sarraj said that the strikes caused heavy losses. The airstrikes are the first such US military intervention coordinated with the Libyan unity government. There have been 2 previous US attacks on IS targets in Libya last year in February and November. The Pentagon said that Monday's strikes were in support of government forces currently fighting IS militants. Pentagon spokesman Peter Cook added that the strikes hit precision targets, including a tank, in response to a request from the Libyan administration in the past few days. Libya has become increasingly divided since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, with competing governments and rival militias seeking to gain territory and influence. The chaos had left Libya vulnerable to an influx of IS fighters, many from Syria.
Today, at the request of Libya's government of national accord, the United States conducted precision airstrikes against ISIL targets in Sirte, Libya, to support GNA-affiliated forces seeking to defeat ISIL in its primary stronghold in Libya. These strikes were authorized by the President following a recommendation from Secretary Carter and Chairman Dunford. They are consistent with our approach of combating ISIL by working with capable and motivated local partners.
المجلس الرئاسي بصفته القائد الأعلى للجيش الليبي على طلب دعم مباشر من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية لتوجيه ضربات جوية محددة لمعاقل تنظيم الدولة داعش بمدينة سرت وضواحيها بالتنسيق المباشر مع المجلس الرئاسي وقيادة غرفة العمل.
Let's take a look at some more international news now in World Wrap. A Russian military helicopter has been shot down in Syria, killing all 5 on board. The Mi-8 transporter was brought down by rebels in northern Idlib province. It was returning from delivering humanitarian aid to the besieged city of Aleppo. It is not clear which group brought the helicopter down. US Secretary of State John Kerry on Monday called on Russia to restrain itself and the Assad regime from offensive operations as siege of Aleppo continues. Kerry said that the next few days are critical to decide whether or not Russia was sincere in its intention of cooperating on a cessation of hostilities. Kerry's statement came as Syrian rebel fighters have launched a major assault on government-held southwestern parts of Aleppo to try to reopen supply lines into opposition-held areas of the city after the army and its allies tightened their siege last week. A US think tank has claimed that China continues to sell nuclear reactors to Pakistan. It also expressed concern over export of nuclear materials in violation of international norms and established procedures. In its report assessing progress on nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament, the organization gave China a failing F grade on nuclear weapons-related export control. China joined the NSG in 2004 and its national export controls include provisions related to export licensing, control lists, end-user controls and import controls. Tens of thousands of Yemenis took to the streets of Sana'a on Monday in support of the newly declared governing council set up by the dominant Houthi group and its allies in ex-President Ali Abdullah Saleh's party to run the country. The new council announced last week was denounced by the United Nations as a threat to ongoing peace talks that have so far failed to halt more than a year of fighting across the impoverished country. Three fleets of the Chinese Navy conducted a combined drill on the East China Sea on Monday to mark the Chinese Army Day. The drill highlighted the requirement for real battles, focusing on discovering and solving problems in order to improve Chinese Navy's abilities of performing their missions. The drill was an annual routine activity, not directing at any particular country or targets, conforming to the international law and common international practice. From sports news now, the National Anti-Doping Agency has given a clean chit to wrestler Narsingh Yadav, clearing the way for him to participate in the 74-kilogram freestyle category at the Rio Olympics. According to the agency, Narsingh Yadav was a victim of sabotage and police probe also backs the wrestler. Panel also said that the wrestler deserved the benefit of doubt. However, there are clouds over his participation in the Olympics as his replacement has already reached Rio. But the Wrestling Federation of India said Narsingh would now be brought back into the squad.
The panel is treating this as a single violation because the report of the sample taken on 25th June was not notified to him till the sample taken on 5th July. For the reasons said above, panel concludes that the athlete deserves the benefit of Article 10.4 of the anti-doping rules of NADA 2015, as there is no fault or negligence on his part and he is a victim of sabotage done by a competitor.
बिल्कुल जैसे कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस गरीब खिलाड़ी को इतना साथ दिया और उन्होंने इतना जल्दी से मैटर सॉल्व किया और मैं उनका तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ। यहाँ पे जो भी मीडिया और जनता में और हमारी भारतीय जो खेल मंत्रालय है और सभी का मैं तहे दिल से आभारी हूँ कि सभी ने मेरा सपोर्ट किया, सभी ने सच्चाई का साथ दिया और मुझे न्याय दिलाया। और मैं मीडिया लोग खास करके बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा कि आप लोगों ने हमेशा मेरे कई बार सिर्फ दो पॉजिटिव किसी खिलाड़ी का आज तक किसी मीडिया ने मतलब साथ नहीं दिया, आप लोगों ने मेरा साथ दिया और मुझे इतना आप लोगों ने उठाया कि मुझे न्याय मिला, तो आप सबका मैं धन्यवाद करता हूं। और आप लोगों की उम्मीद मुझसे यही है कि मैं ओलंपिक मेडल लेके आऊं और आप लोगों को इससे जब अपने कंट्री के लिए अपने मेडल जीतूं, इससे बड़ी और कुछ नहीं।
Well, the weather gods gave West Indies a lifeline in their quest to avoid defeat in the second test against India when rain washed out the final session of Day 3 in Kingston, Jamaica. India built a first innings lead of 304 runs before captain Virat Kohli declared at 500 for 9 just before tea as light rain fell at Sabina Park.
That was beautifully struck, and it's going to go on.
That's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.